Hey everybody, it is your gaming editor extraordinaire and Survivor buddy Gordon, and the Survivor 42 finale is in the books. And what a finale it was. If you're wondering why I'm whispering, it's because it is late and my daughter is sleeping, and I would love for her to stay sleeping. So I'm going to be quiet. You be quiet too. Also, in interest of time, all three, tonight we're going to hear from the final three, and all three of the interviews are going to have the same intro in the interest of time. So if you've heard this spiel before, feel free to skip ahead a minute and a half. If not, stick around and listen. First of all, the comment section is open, so feel free to listen how you feel about tonight's episode, the finale, who won, how the jury reacted, all the stuff. 3 simple rules: be nice to each other, be nice to the contestant, and be nice to me. Next, if you are an Xfinity subscriber, say Survivor in your Xfinity voice remote, and that will take you to a destination, lets you watch full episodes, set your DVR, and watch these interviews. As soon as these interviews go on YouTube, they're added to a row, 2 rows down on the Survivor landing page. And now that we're done, once all these interviews are done, and I'll be doing 4 and 5 tomorrow, you'll have a full slate of exit press from all the contestants. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way to do that is on Twitter, at Gordon Holmes. I'd love to hear from you. And finally, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. It gets us in front of more people. The more people that see us, the more stuff we can do. And also, this summer, we're going to have all kinds of Survivor fun, like old pre-game interviews with the cast of Survivor Gabon, Survivor Nicaragua, Survivor South Pacific, I believe. So you're going to want to be alerted for that. So again, like and subscribe. And that's all I got to say. So let's see what the final 3 has to say about the big finale. Okay. Romeo, welcome to my hangout, sir.
Thank you, Gordon. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. Although, just watch we literally 2 seconds ago, I had to run here with my computer and a wounded baby bird. Come on, Omer.
Perception is not reality. That's what I've learned.
It's interesting to do the finale immediately after they cast the votes. So here you are. You've had 9 months at this point to think about what was said. Do you feel any differently than you did back in Fiji?
I got myself to the final 3, so I feel no different. It is what it is. It's a game, Gordon. It's a game, Gordon. It's a game.
That's very, very true. You had such a rough hand dealt to you post-merge, and you're kind of in this weird position where you have to walk the tightrope of, you're fighting for your life because you're on the bottom, but you can't fight too hard because that makes you a target. Walk me through your thought process of how you kept staying in the game when it seemed like you were on the bottom.
Well, here's the thing, Gordon, what the edit didn't show was the relationships that I actually had with everyone. So I'm glad that they left it in my jury speech. I had an alliance with different people in the game, and people were wondering, people just assume we're just Romeo's the MKs, or he's easy to beat. But the reality was that I always knew who was being voted out, even though I was voting differently, and I'll explain why I was doing that. It was kind of hard to not be able to speak until now, so I feel like the gates are open now. I can explain the game.
Let's have it.
You're giving me the opportunity, people. But one thing that I learned is that perception is not reality out there, and that's my fault. But I feel like I'm blessed because I was able to have such an arc in the game at the beginning. The guy was running out there, and then I came to the merge, and I was immediately at the bottom. So I went from CEO to janitor. And in a weird way, I'm kind of glad because I was able to experience both ends of Survivor. It was like I played 2 different seasons. And the way that I stayed was just making relationships and kind of letting the big people eat each other. I could clearly see what was happening. It wasn't paranoia. It was my awareness of what was happening immediately. I knew people didn't want to work with me. I knew about the 8-person alliance that I was left out and why I was left out and how I had to fend for myself. And the way that I stuck around was having a relationship here. I had an alliance with Jonathan called Biggie Smalls that they didn't show. I had a relationship with Omer and Marianne called the Little Underbirdies. And that was because Omer hated dogs, so he didn't want to be the underdog. So we were the Underbirdies. I had obviously still, even though my alliance with Drea broke, we still had a good relationship in the game. Me and Lindsay were the only ones that shared the shelter at night. Everyone slept by the fire or the guys slept separately. It was me and Lindsay that stayed up hours at night talking about guys and food and all this stuff. So that wasn't shown, and people were wondering, well, what's going on? And it was actually the relationships that actually kept me in the game and also in the know. Omer would always tell me who was going, who was voting for me, in case, and what people were saying. So I was very in tune about what was happening out there. And I just had to just kind of, like I said, kind of like hang on by my nails and just hope that I didn't fall off. And that's how I got.
When I first of all, I love it when people give their alliances nicknames. That's the only thing I like about Big Brother. And second, when I interviewed Drea, she accused you and Marianne of not playing, which is the thing. Whereas, were you not playing, or did she not see you playing?
Again, perception is not reality, and that was her perception, and it was a false one. I love Drea; that's my boo. But what they didn't show also in the edit was people were so they didn't understand how Drea dropped me so fast. We were each other's number one already, and why she didn't include me in the 8-person alliance. And that was because when we got over to the merge, we said, hey, you know what? We can't let people know we're a pair. Let's branch off. Don't talk to me. I won't talk to you. And we did such a good job that she started believing it herself. And one of the things was I became very close to Tori. We had a very good relationship because I just felt bad with the people in the bottom. And I became a person at the bottom because of my tightness with her. Drea said, you know, you're my number one and you're friends with my nemesis. I can't trust you anymore. You're not included in the 8 alliance. And that's what happened. And after that, perception is reality. So I had to fight all the way to the end, Gordon.
If anything, you're guilty of going too deep undercover.
Absolutely.
So at Final Tribal, Hai accused you of gaslighting him, which was kind of a weird, like, you know, survivor, and everybody lies, but the term gaslighting has such a negative connotation. Did that throw you at all when he said that?
Yeah, it did, but I wouldn't expect anything else from Hai. So yeah, it threw me off, but I was ready for a tough tribal. I knew people's perception of me at that point. So I felt like in the final 3, I was pretty much set for 3rd place, but I felt like I had already won anyways.
That was a question with Marianne. Like, you know, I obviously enjoyed Marianne, but didn't think too highly of her game until the Omer vote. When you had the decision to decide who to take with you, what was your thought process when you decided to take her along?
That's a 2-part answer, Gordon. Number one,
we got time. We got time.
Number one, I watch her YouTube and I'm like, oh my God, we got to be fast. Okay, so part one was that again, perception, reality. So my perception of her was she was at the bottom with me, so she played a more similar game like me, like kind of just a self-preservation mode and just trying to hang on and you know, hope it's not her. So we were the underbirdies. So I had the impression that we played a very similar game. She pulled that amazing move off in Omer, but she pulled it off with my help. You know, Mike and Jonathan didn't vote for Omer. So if I didn't join Marianne in voting for Omer, he probably would have won the game. So my perception was, you know what, I have probably a better shot of coming in number 2 as opposed to number 3 with Marianne and Jonathan than Mike and Marianne. And second part was, I'm going to admit it, Gordon, emotions. It was an emotional vote. I bonded. Marianne was there for me when I felt alone. She was always so supportive of me. You saw in that final immunity challenge, she embraced me. And it was my emotions also that took over. And there was no way that I could cut her. And I had a better relationship with her than I did with Jonathan and Mike. So I didn't feel as bad cutting one of them as I would have her. So that's also what came into play.
Okay. Well, as you well know, we do a word association here to get to know your tribe mates a little bit better. I'll give you someone's name, give me the first word, a couple words that pops into your head. And let's start off with Zach.
Super fan.
Omer.
Lies. No, just playing. He's a great player.
Great player. Lindsay.
Lindsay, Superwoman.
Roxroy.
Hard worker.
Mike.
An old man. No, old but very young at heart. Young at heart.
Okay. Tori.
Beautiful.
Chanel.
She was tough.
Okay. Marianne. Strong.
Marianne, very talkative, very entertaining.
Okay. Hai.
Jealous of me? No, I'm just playing. No, 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 no.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
I'll say mental, mental.
Okay. Drea.
Advantage gate. She was my boo for first part of the game, and then she got what she deserved for turning on me.
Okay. Lydia.
Lydia, wild. She's wild and fun.
Okay. Swati.
She's young. You know, she's young. She's a young sweetheart.
Okay. And let's finish off with Jonathan.
Goliath for sure.
Okay. Now, part of your story was how you weren't comfortable being open about your sexuality back home. Obviously, you went on CBS and had these conversations. I'd love to know how that's worked out for you since you've been back. And if it hasn't worked out well, you're welcome to come stay with us. Although we do not have good takeout here. It's like pizza and subs, that's it.
You know what? What did I say out there? I would have been happy with eating doo-doo. I was so hungry out there. So that's fine.
It's better than doo-doo. It's better than doo-doo.
Right. At that point, I would eat anything. You know what? It's been amazing. Let me just clarify. I live my life out. I didn't out myself in Survivor, but I did come out to certain family members that didn't know about me. That's what it was. And their reaction has been amazing. They all called me crying, saying, they support me. They love me regardless. But what's been more rewarding about this whole experience was the hundreds of messages that I received from people from the community from all over the world that just related from me, from parents thanking me, from children just saying, thank you. Now I feel more comfortable to have that conversation with my parents. It's just, that really made me feel like a winner. And if I could inspire people to be more their authentic self by being on Survivor and doing what I did, then hey, you know what? I feel like a winner.
Romeo, that's awesome to hear. And, I know today's just been a crazy day and we're short on time. So I want to thank you so much. And you were a ton of fun to watch. And you're not a wounded bird in my eyes. You're healed and soaring through the skies. I don't know what that Homer's talking about.
Thank you, Gordon.
All right. Thanks so much, Romeo.